And we're back. Peach State Power Hour live on the UGA Sports YouTube channel. You are seeing this correct. It is not Sunday, it's Monday night. This is your Monday night football primer, per se. You get your load of Bulldog football, Falcons football, little Georgia high school football scoreboard update. We got Andy Stowe, Eddie from Acworth. I'm Harrison Reno. Our great friend Eddie has returned from his voyage to Mordor. He's back alive and well. We are excited.
I didn't get the ring. This is
did
not the
get
ring, by the way.
Come on now.
But maybe we will see the ring come January. I believe it's January 22nd, it's the day after the national championship game.
Nice.
Maybe our friend Eddie will come. Yeah, right there. Gentlemen, I missed y'all Sunday night. I hate to admit it. I hate to blow up Eddie's ego a little bit more. But Sunday night wasn't quite the same without it. Sunday wasn't quite the same without the chat going off. Shout out Goat Dog for being with us here tonight. Isaiah Bricks checking in as well. Foster Moss. Gentlemen, how are y'all doing?
Dude, the Georgia Bulldogs won. The Atlanta Falcons won. How could you be bad? I mean, we broke their heart. We didn't step on their face with a hobnail boot, but we did a little something.
Well, we kind of did.
We kind of. I mean, they kind of did. They kind of, yeah. So, no, it's great to be a Georgia Bulldog. It's a great weekend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
And Eddie,
I'll just throw in.
Where were you hiding at? Where were you hiding at this weekend? So,
I was out. I was out doing things, doing old man things, I guess you could say. Kind of.
Was that right?
Retirement homes already?
I said he was.
No, I'm kidding on that end. It is a mix of old and young. Okay, it's not just, but there are old people involved in this, so it's not just. Yeah, it has nothing to do with retirement homes and all that crap. So,
did you go to an ice cream social?
No.
I said he was playing bingo and it was his turn to pull the balls. But
that's not a bad guess because I was at Morrison's when you texted me that. So having the 4:30 dinner. Yeah. No, I was not doing that either.
You're that old that you're having 4:30 dinners already?
That was a joke. Harrison, that was a joke.
All right. Well, gentlemen, we got a lot to get into tonight. We got a loaded show. We'll try to keep we'll try to keep the Eddie jokes to a minimum tonight, although we got to catch back up on our quota that we missed out on Sunday night. Gentlemen, what if I told you this time last week that Georgia and Tennessee were going to put up 80 combined points in the scoreboard, almost over 1,000 or 998 total yards of offense?
That's crazy.
And that game would go to overtime. Would you have guessed that Georgia would come out of Neyland Stadium with a win?
If you would have told me Tennessee was going to score that many points, like I really thought the most they would score was like 20. I was like, dude, we got this. If you'd have told me they were scoring 40 points, I'd be like, okay, we're getting blown out. That's what I would have thought. I would have thought it was a complete blowout. But hey, Gunner manned up. The offense manned up. The offensive line, I don't know if they manned up, but they were in there. And the running game manned up. So, hey, I was shocked. I still don't believe it after seeing Georgia score 44 and Tennessee 41. But, hey, a win's a win. We'll take it any way we can get it now.
So we've been doing this for 9 years, beating Tennessee, right? And I think going into maybe, a couple in the beginning, the scenario, Andy, correct me if I'm wrong, has been if Georgia gets in a shootout with Tennessee, they're dead. That's been the narrative for several years now, right?
Yeah.
Well, guess what? Georgia got in a shootout with Tennessee and won the football game. Okay. Secondly, how many people fit in Neyland? 109?
I think they said 105,000. I think it's like the fifth largest stadium. I think that's what they said. It might have been 109, but it's the fifth largest stadium in the country, I believe.
Yeah. And these idiot fans are bragging now about how they hit 140 decibels on the whatever meter that is, right? So loudest stadium of all time. Well, congratulations, another L for you. But I just want to point this out, Harrison, overall picture. They hit those decibels. Congrats, great job. In that entire game, there was one false start, and it was on Tennessee. You talk about discipline and coaching for the University of Georgia. That is amazing that we didn't have one false start that entire football game. Incredible. Incredible job. That's why I said going into this football game, everybody that texted me said, I think we're in trouble. I said 3 words, Kirby effing smart. That's why we won the football game.
Well, when I'm out here, when I hear practice, they're blaring music. And I know blaring music isn't the same as having crowd noise. I know it's different, but it is loud out there. And Kirby's constantly yelling, put out the noise. So now they're practicing it. Again, you got 100, I think this says 101,915 people. So that's 102,000 people yelling at you. And they're hungry. They're wanting it. And somehow Gunner and the whole offense, no false start. And they were able to do it. So, yeah, good point.
Harrison, I'll kick this back to you. So, in my opinion, that was an absolutely crushing loss to Tennessee. Crushing. Do you think that this loss carries over for Tennessee going forward? And secondly, I think this win was more important for Georgia than it was for Tennessee, because look at the rest of the schedule for Tennessee. It's doable. Okay. They should be okay. They're probably a playoff team. Georgia loses his football game. I got visions of 4 and 5 losses going through my head. What do you think,
Eddie? You took the words right out of my mouth. I was sitting there in the fourth quarter when Tennessee's driving down the field at the end of the game, at the end of regulation, to go set up that field goal. I'm sitting here like, ooh, Georgia loses this one, like 8-4. It's more of a possibility than you would have thought in the beginning of August. I'm looking at the rest of the schedule. You got the boogeyman coming to town in 2 weeks. You got Alabama coming to your house. You got Ole Miss coming to your house. You got Texas coming to your house. You got to go on the road to Auburn, Jordan Hare, and not to mention you play a Mississippi State team that seemingly has been a surprise so far. You have to play Kentucky at some point in October at home. Like, yeah, Eddie, I'm sitting there thinking,
discard Florida, where they're Super Bowl, right?
There's Florida and Jacksonville. Like, man, you look at it and you're sitting there like, man, Georgia loses this one. It's going to be the margin of error gonna really, really slim down the rest of the way for them. Now,
it is for Tennessee, their schedule's not as easy as you're kind of making it out to be. They got Mississippi State, like you mentioned, but they have Arkansas, who, they got Alabama, Kentucky, Oklahoma, Florida, and Vanderbilt. And Vanderbilt looks like a legit team. So,
I
don't know.
I think we'll start here. How much does the narrative change surrounding this Georgia team if you still get the 4th and 6 touchdown, you're still tied, but the defense doesn't hold them and they make that field goal? How much does the narrative change? I think I've picked up on, I think people are willing to look past the defensive performance on Saturday because it is Kirby Smart and because they won that game, but also because the offense did enough to win that game and ultimately won them that game. How much does that narrative change for y'all if the field goal went in?
If Georgia loses the game, what is the narrative? Well, then you start talking about the defense struggled, no pressure, no sacks, offensive line can't block. It's a completely different, so 180. But on the flip side, those things are still real. The right side of the offensive line still can't tackle, or I can't block. The defensive line is not getting pressure. So it's still the same things, but you got that win in front of you. And could you put up James Carraway's message? That guy, I heard they played episodes of the Peach State Power Hour on the loudspeaker to drive the team nuts. They had Eddie's voice pumping up through there last week.
I like it. That's awesome. Good. That's good.
Yeah. The narrative, it flips, but it's still the same.
Harrison, you answered my first question, or my second question. What about my first question? Do you guys think that this loss carries over with Tennessee? And I mean, they play UAB this weekend. They probably get that right. Do you think this lingers at all?
I mean, look, it's a crushing defeat. It was going to be on either side. Like if Georgia had lost this, that field goal went in, there were going to be some people hurt and upset. I think it's just the same way for Tennessee. This is the closest they came to beating Georgia under Josh Heupel, and it still wasn't enough. Certainly, I think that's going to hurt. But I don't see this carrying over. If anything, I think this puts a ton more confidence into Joey Aguilar, puts a ton more confidence into that group, that offense, because they put up 41 points on Georgia in a game where they were down their starting offensive tackle.
They were missing their
two offensive tackles. They missed their top 2 corners. They missed some of their defensive line. Like, you talk about the same thing with Georgia. When we talk about Georgia needs to get healthy, and it's going to be crazy to see where this team can grow. Same thing can be said about Tennessee, man. They were not at full health. Georgia was neither. But these teams put up a heck of a football game down the stretch. Incredible, incredible game. Early game of the year candidate without some of their key football players playing down the stretch in those key moments. I feel pretty confident that Tennessee's going to be in the playoff discussion. Crazy to say that, considering I didn't think I thought they were going to take a step back. But they've won the trade between Joey Aguilar and Nico. Joey Aguilar, props to him. His dad put him in a tough position last week, in my opinion, given those comments about, hey, he's going to prove the world while we won the trade versus Georgia. Don't do. In my opinion, I never like to put that extra pressure, especially when people look at that and say, oh, that's bulletin board material. Don't want to give anything to your opponent. But he played his tail off, made some huge plays in that football game, and ultimately gave them every chance to win that game.
Yeah, it was. I mean, he looked great. It was crazy. Like, when they got him, I was like, okay. But I was never big on Nico anyway. So, it wasn't like I thought they were losing something spectacular. But they played good. That's the best they've done. But still, at the end of the day, the best they've done against the Dogs still couldn't get it done. So
Paul Meharry, hope y'all have a great Monday show on the PHSP. So just to explain to everybody, Paul named the show the Peach State Power Hour, which obviously is PSPH. And after the post-game overreaction show, he couldn't even say it. I mean, but, to be fair, he'd been having a few toddies and enjoying himself.
I think he was what? He was what? 10, 16 ounce?
He did say that. So he put that out there. He said 10, 16 ounce. So I'll go ahead and say that. You're right, Harrison.
And he had his French fries. He was eating his French fries and drinking his Coors Light. So, yeah, he's good to go.
He looked like Jabba the Hutt, just jamming those suckers down his throat. So.
Retirement treating him well.
That's right. That's right.
He's still coming back to work. He's still hanging out here with us. He's still on the post-game overreaction show.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Paul.
Yeah, absolutely. Wrong. Thank you.
So can I expand a little bit on one thing that I want to bring to light? And Kirby talked about it, and he was asked about it. So the second half, we were down 21-17, and we come out, and that to me, that death march we did for 8 minutes?
8 minutes.
16 out of 17 were running plays. That was one of the best drives I've seen since that drive against Alabama, Andy, that we always talk about, or that death march, right?
Yeah, that death
won
march.
The football game.
Yep.
That was what that was. And we went down there and scored that touchdown and went up by 3 points. And then the next series, if you remember, Tennessee goes 3 and out, but that was a series where Raylan Wilson, what we used to call a spinal ectomy when I was in high school playing football. Spinal ectomy. That's what it looked like. He broke Aguilar in half.
Yeah.
Okay. I said to my buddies, this game is over right now because we just demoralized Aguilar. We just demoralized their defense. Okay. Then we went back and I think they got the ball back or something and they turned it over and we ended up getting a field goal. But their defense kind of bowed their neck. And then the next thing you know, they threw that long freaky pass and they scored a touchdown. So they got real conservative right there. That's what I'm trying to get at. And Kirby was asked about that after the game. And he admitted that he read it wrong. He said, I thought the game – he didn't say the game was over, but he said we had demoralized their defense in such a way that they were tired and we could just run the ball, and they couldn't do that. So I thought the game, if we had lost, was going to go right back to those moments. And fortunately, we ended up winning, but that could have been a big bugaboo on Kirby's part.
Well, yeah, because it's like they took the foot off the gas because they thought that they thought they had broke them. Because I mean, really, if you go out there on that next drive, and if you just, if you go nonstop, they could have scored one more touchdown there, and then it was over. I think Kirby thought it was over one drive too soon. Because if we would have went out one more drive, and then you go out there and score another touchdown, the stadium clears out. They're going home at that point. Yeah. Now he said it like you're right. He said I thought that we had taken control of the game and they didn't. So no, I mean kudos.
And you know what I like best about that is that Kirby admitted that, and he's still learning on the job, which I love. And he's going to take that moment in his brain going forward. And if this happens again, he ain't going to take his foot off the gas. Boba may call something like a little run up the middle, which you love, Andy, when Boba does that. And Kirby's going to say, screw that. Let's go down the field.
Let's go down the field. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I'm not opposed to a run up the middle. I like a run up the middle, but not when it's right. What you're saying. Yeah. I'm with you. Yeah. 100%.
Gentlemen, let's talk about this. You'll talk about taking the foot off the gas. There's 3 drives in that third quarter, late third quarter.
Yeah.
Oh boy. We're getting this started early tonight, boys. John Deere Green checking back with us.
Right there. That's your man, Eddie.
There he is.
Tell your son good night before you get off here. So.
Yeah.
I don't know that guy.
Let's start with conversation. Sure, you don't. Let's start with conversation about Mike Bobo, the lightning rod of Georgia football. Every argument, every negative thing that's ever happened to Georgia football over the hundreds and hundreds of years that Georgia's been around, I swear to God, it relates back to Mike Bobo somehow.
It's his fault. Yeah, it is his
it's always Mike Bobo's fault. How do y'all feel like Mike Bobo performed in this game? Because from an analyst's perspective, from content creator's perspective, I thought this was one of Mike Bobo's better games. I mean, Alex Page, you're doing a phenomenal job. I mean, giving us a reminder what the narrative was. Georgia couldn't throw the ball downfield. Thought Georgia only threw screens and short passes to the outside. AKA, get the ball in the hands of playmakers so they can make plays. Thought Georgia could only run the ball. Thought Gunnar Stockton never been on the road. Thought Gunnar Stockton couldn't go into Neyland Stadium and win. They did all of that. First play of the game was a 45-yard pass to Colby Young.
That was huge.
I mean, Bobo dialed up a shot play, first play of the game, like he had tried to do versus Alabama last year. I believe he tried to do it versus Texas, tried to do it versus Tennessee, and all of those were incomplete. He gets Gunnar Stockton back there, and he hits it first play. Boom. You're right there. You're in a rhythm. How do y'all feel Mike Bobo did on Saturday?
Well, Eddie, I'll go first. I think – so – I'm not a Bobo hater. A lot of people hate him. I've never been a Bobo hater. Sometimes I think he does get conservative, and I think in those drives he got a little conservative. But again, you got the man on the headset, it's Kirby Smart. He can say, no more conservative. Let's go. But I think the first play when they took the shot, it was okay, we can do this. And that's when we get to some of our favorite plays. Mine was the first pass because he hits him down the field. It's just nonstop. He was aggressive and he was calling and I thought he had Tennessee mixed up from the run, the pass, and the quick hitters. And then he was taking the shots when they needed it, not to mention an offensive line that was struggling a little bit. So I think it was his best game that he's called in a long time. And hey, I was sitting here and complaining last week, but maybe they were using the first two games as practice to see what they could do and then turn it on. So I thought it was his best game he's had in a long time as a play caller. So.
Well, aren't the two easiest things in football to do is to call out the offensive coordinator and say the backup's better than the starter on the quarterback side?
Backup, yep.
It's the two easiest things to do.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
We all do it. I do it. It's just so easy to do. But I will say, going back to what I said about that conservative part of the game there that almost cost us the game, I did say to the guys I was with, I was like, I did not like this at all from Bobo. And if we lose this football game, it's on him because of what he called there. It was just so concerned. Now, we won the game, so all that kind of goes out the window, right? He's a genius again, a genius, whatever you want to call him. But I understand. I get it. It's the easiest thing in the world to do when they throw a bubble screen and it's for a loss. Well, there goes Bobo again, throwing that damn bubble screen. Well, when he hits Zachariah Branch on a bubble screen, he takes it to the house. What a genius play. And it was the same play, because they had the blocking down the field and they had the numbers and it worked. So, I'm just kind of blah about that. I don't really care. I just score points and win. That's how I feel about it.
Boys, I want to address a question in the chat, or not a question, but a statement here. I think because when I went back and watched the film the other day, I did notice it. When you saw Georgia run screens, most of it was based off a look that Tennessee was giving. Tennessee showed a lot of zero looks. Way you can see zeros is usually a good indicator, or all the DBs are kind of like birds sitting on a fence. And there were several times throughout that game. I wish I went back and had tracked it because I marked each play that I didn't count up. Every time Georgia ran a screen, most of the time it's because Tennessee was showing pressure. And a lot of it was man pressure. And the best way to deal with some of those man pressures is to get the ball out on the perimeter quick and ask those guys to go make blocks. And you saw when Georgia had Lawson Lucky and Dylan Bell and Zachariah Branch to the trip side of the field, they had three DBs over the top. You had the two corners and a safety. Lawson Lucky and Dylan Bell take care of the corner and the safety, or take care of the two corners. Then it's just the safety. And that's Zachariah Branch's man. As we talked about last week, give me Zachariah Branch versus any safety in the world not named Caleb Downs in the open field, and you might be banging your head on the goalpost most of the time. Great. I mean, look, I get it. Sometimes it doesn't get you big yardage. Like I know on the third down right before the 4th and 6th, didn't get you any yards. But I want people to go back and watch that play. if Oscar Delp blocks him any better, gets a little bit of pushback, does not get pushed back into Dylan Bell's lap.
Yeah.
Dylan Bell's one-on-one with the safety on 3rd and 6. Yes, I get it. The play was a net neutral play. You didn't get positive yardage. But usually that's not because the defense is sitting there knowing it's coming. It's just because, hey, somebody didn't get the best of blocks. Somebody didn't execute that. But that same look that they had been giving all game and they had been getting was the same look they got in that play. It just didn't work out on that point. Boys, a takeaway just from reading these chats. Our comment section are not the people up on the dog vent.
I know. Praising Mike Bobo.
Yeah, this is the most praise I've seen from Mike Bobo since I've been doing anything.
Well, now wait a minute. It's because we won the game. If we'd have lost the game, he'd been like, "Get him out of here." You know, I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah,
I love this. Branch's offense in the microwave. Instant.
Look, let's talk about that guy. He is as explosive of a player as Georgia has had on the offensive side. I'm like, in the last couple of years, really. Like, I mean, he's like Brock Bowers was explosive in a different way, you know, like it was a different explosion. But like that dude, I don't know. I mean, I know Southern Cal's whatever, but I'm surprised they let him get away. I'm surprised they didn't pay him. And that is true. Kirby is 16-0 and they scored 35. Yeah.
Isn't that
courtesy of CBS Sports?
That's stat that is.
Yeah.
I thought Kirby Smart doesn't put up a lot of points. I thought Kirby Smart teams are 20 point and
3 yards in a cloud of dust, right?
Yeah, just run
6-3. Yeah.
Run.
You know we're not. You know what my favorite part of all of this is, guys?
What?
You know what we're not talking about? Dropped passes.
Yes. That is a very
There's
big
only
thing.
one that
narrative is, huh?
There's only one, and I don't know if they would count it as a drop.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you're right, and we talked about this, or maybe it's Harrison that was talking about it. The first play in the game against Texas last year was a bomb to Arian Smith that was open, and he just flat out dropped it.
Yeah.
The first play on Saturday was a bomb to Colby Young,
and he
called it. A great throw and a beast of a catch.
Yeah.
You drop that, the whole narrative of this game changes. I mean, I just am so excited we're not having to talk about drop balls because they're catching the football.
Well, Eddie, we've kind of been talking about the good stuff and the bad stuff, though. So, what was your favorite play of the game? How did you feel about like is there any play that y'all can come up with and say, hey, this was my favorite play? Like I love this play. Do you have one?
So are we gonna? I laid it out to you guys two ways: favorite and impact. Are we gonna talk about that or just talk about favorite?
Do both. Whatever you want to do.
All right. So my favorite play of the game was the 2-point conversion. And I mean, it was a huge impact play, obviously, but just the fact that Zechariah Branch made that little move back to the tight end and then cut it out, and he was wide open. And by the way, I don't know if you guys know this, they ran the same play against Austin Peay last week, almost the exact same look, and they broke it up. Go back and watch the tape, Harrison. You'll have to remember that, but they ran the same type of play and they broke it up. He was wide open. It wasn't even close. That was a huge play in the game, and it's just my favorite. I love Zach. I mean, Zachariah Branch is becoming a cult hero in Georgia right now.
Yeah, he
are falling in love with this kid. Not only is he a great kid, but just his celebration when he does that little, when he's up in the air, he's just great. He's so fun to watch play football. That was my favorite play.
Georgia needed a natural separator. Did not have it last year.
Yep.
Hasn't had a natural separator at receiver since Ladd left, and they found one. I mean, if you play man-to-man coverage versus Georgia, you're going to be in trouble. I'm going
to push back on you there, Harrison. We did have one, and I'm not knocking the kid. Arian Smith was a separator, but he kept dropping
passes. Yeah.
Zachariah Branch makes that slant he caught across the middle. He just catches everything in his vicinity.
And that's what Smith is probably as explosive or, as Branch, but
right.
But
and maybe that's the way Carson Beck threw the football. We don't know, right? I mean, maybe he catches Gunner's balls. I don't know. But go ahead, Harrison. I'm sorry.
We have a special request. One more time on the celebration.
Please do it, Eddie. Do it one more time, please.
Do it. Just because he asked, I'm not doing it.
Oh, it was great.
It was great.
Props to you, Harrison. Did you have a favorite?
I mean, look, the run play in overtime that set up the first and
great.
goal. I mean,
Had
I think I've seen
a little
several people talk about it.
Stuff.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was just about to say. Once he got to the edge, you're sitting there thinking, is he about to take this all the way? Like, is Nate Frazier about to call ball game on this thing? He called ball game in Tennessee last year, had the game icing touchdown, and basically had the game icing run to set up Josh McCray to punch that thing in from the goal line. I think that's a favorite play.
Yeah.
Personally, in terms of, I guess, comedic, and this is at Georgia's expense. There was a play in that football game. I believe it was Juan Gaston in at right guard, and I don't remember. I think left guard must have been Micah. Georgia was running some type of, I can't remember if it was a run or a pass. I'll say it was a run. Remember versus Clemson last year? Clemson had the two pulling guards run into each other on
yes.
Yeah. Georgia had its own version of that bust. I believe it was Gaston and Michael Morris both ran into each other, thinking they were both pulling. So that was I guess, a funny moment when you go back and watch it. Obviously, in the moment, not so funny. But in terms of that's my favorite play, I guess, from the weekend.
My favorite play was Gunner's first pass, and like Paul had mentioned earlier, he said it was Bobo saying "screw you, I'm going to throw it," but it was Gunner saying, "Hey, I know they just went down the field, scored 7 on us. I don't care. This moment's not getting too big for me." Like, it was, the lights weren't too bright. So yeah, I thought it was Gunner's first pass. I thought that just kind of set the tone.
I know we have been biggest impact play, and James Carey says it here, the fourth down conversion.
That's
absolutely, that's the best argument. But I'm gonna push back real quick. There's that one, but what if they don't have the false start? What if there isn't that 5-yard penalty on the Tennessee drive? Does that kick go in? Now I say to that, arguing with myself, that kick was wide right the moment it was kicked. So I don't know.
I don't think it would have went in, but it was. Yeah, but the kicker, his eyes, you saw in that.
Yeah, but I'll give Paul credit for this, even though he was wasted eating fries talking about this. But he said when that play happened, that kicker started thinking even more, oh my God, this is a pressure moment, right? Initially, it was just like, I got to go out and make this kick. They had that 5 yards back up, and he's like, oh, this is even harder now. And you could see it on that kid's face watching the replay. I didn't think about it initially watching it live. I was like, he's going to drill this. But he came out there. He looked like a deer in headlights. You could just see him missing that kick.
We got a question in chat from Chris. Why did Juan get pulled out of the game? Both Juan and Ernest, I guess, were probably on a snap count. They were just giving everything they had physically until they couldn't play anymore. I would take it as that. We haven't had confirmation, but that would be the only reason I would say they probably didn't finish that game. Georgia got everything out of them that they could. I would assume we'll probably get clarification on that from Kirby tomorrow afternoon. Boys, let's talk. I know we've talked favorite play. We've talked greatest play or most impactful play. I want to talk.
Well, we didn't talk impactful play. We just talked great favorite play.
Oh yeah, not impactful. We'll come back to that here in a minute.
Okay.
I want to talk because we really haven't dove in a little bit. Let's talk about the right side of the offensive line. I think that's a big talking point from the offense outside of Gunner Stockton.
It is.
Look, I think we came on here last week and said we thought Dontrell Glover and Bo Hughley were the pairing that, if Ernest and Juan couldn't go, should have been the pairing to go in that game. Obviously, that's not what it turned out to be until the end. It was Ernest and Juan for the beginning of that game. Then it turned into Glover and Michael Uni. Uni struggled, and I think a lot of people noticed that. Dontrell Glover had some freshman moments in that game, which you would expect. He's a true freshman. But, I mean, again, giving credit to Gunner, giving credit to Bobo for having to game plan around this whole thing. I mean, that right side of the offensive line was a turnstile. I mean, when Tennessee needed something, it was coming off the right side of that offensive line. And I don't know how Georgia was able to play as well offensively in that game with the right side of that offensive line being some of the worst, I guess, offensive line play that we had seen from a Kirby Smart offensive line ever.
Yeah, that right side of the line is playing probably as bad as it played Kirby's first year. You know, we had to go up and get the Tyler Catalina transfer, and I don't know. Rhode Island. Yeah, and I don't know they've got to do something. And like you start talking about who's going to be the right guard, the right tackle. But let's just assume everyone gets healthy. Is there a case to be made that Dontrell Glover is the right guard and Juan Gaston is the right tackle? Because are they the best two? Right now, I don't know how long it's going to take for Ernest Green to be fully healthy. That back issue, who knows where that's going to be? I'm wondering if it needs to be just go with the rookies, go with the freshmen and hope for the best, because right now the guys that they're playing outside of Hughley, he did come in and look good, but the guys that have been there a long time, they're not doing great. So I'm at the point where go with the two guys that seem to be the best, and if they're two true freshmen on the right side, you go with it. Is that crazy?
Isn't tackle Juan Gaston's natural position coming out of high school?
He did play in high school.
Left tackle. Wasn't it left tackle?
I think he was left tackle, yeah. But
I think it was left tackle too. So
yeah,
I don't know. All right. Well, correct me if I'm wrong, Harrison. On that drive, that death march in the second half, was that not Bo Hughley on the right side on the tackle?
It was Uni. Hughley played the last
Uni that whole
drive
time?
of regulation.
I thought Bo Hughley had come in some for that, but it was Uni that whole drive.
It was Uni pretty much the entire second half for the most part.
Okay.
From my recollection, but yeah, Hughley did not play in that game until the last drive of regulation.
Yeah.
It was Kirby Smart revealed it was a Serrell's call. Serrell's made the call. Kirby was not the one to make that call. I think Kirby made it sound like he wasn't aware of it at the time.
That's what he said. Yeah, he said
wasn't aware of the time, but Serrell's made the call that he thought Hughley was going to be better, I guess, in protection, and that turned out to be the case. Makes you wonder what more Georgia could have done if Hughley had gotten more snaps in that football game. Guys, there was a couple plays in that game where the protection broke down and Georgia had another shot play coming up. I remember there's one in the third, I want to say it was the third quarter, that I want to say it was a sack turned into a sack, or maybe it was a 4-yard gain that Gunner had scrambled out of a sack. They had a wheel route from Oscar or they had a little clear out route from, I want to say it was Dylan Bell running like a little post. And then they had Oscar coming around on a little wheel post, like get out, up, and then he turns it in for a post. And that was running to grass right as pressure was in Gunner's face. Would have been a big play in that football game if the line could have held up just a little bit longer. There's a few other instances where protection was a little bit sturdier. You're talking about some big plays, some big shot play potential in that football game.
Well, we also talk about the offensive line struggling. So we do have to talk about Gunner. A lot of the talk is he's dropping back very deep in the pocket, and it's making it where the defensive ends are able just to run in a straight line and not have to basically fight the tackles. So that is a thing. But they've got to get it better. Eddie, I don't know, what are you going to do? You just keep trying different guys? You're not getting any continuity, and you got to get some continuity.
That's the thing I was going to say. You're not getting any continuity, and now maybe you can get 2 weeks of rest here, and Gaston's 100%, Green's 100%. Is anybody 100%? You know what I'm getting at? As close to 100% as you can get, and that's what we go with. But I when you said that, Andy, that's exactly what I was thinking. Gaston is a natural at tackle, and that may be where he needs to be playing. And maybe they mess with that because they have time in the next couple of weeks to kind of move that around a little bit. But you're asking what the solution is. I don't know, Andy, because you got to figure this out. But it's not like you can just go out there and get an Elijah Wilkinson off the scrap heap like the Falcons did and say, here we go, let's plug this guy in and go. Right. You got what you got. You got to work with what you got, right? And you got to get these guys better quick. So maybe that comes against Alabama with more rollouts and that kind of thing, and you kind of mock it up a little bit that way because they can't pass pro very well. I don't know, but yeah, you're right. They got to figure this out quick because that's a massive issue. But we still had 200 yards of rushing, over 200 yards.
Yeah.
You can't argue with that. I understand the pass pro has been bad, and Gunner's a big part of that. But if I'd have told you guys last week we're going to have 200 yards rushing, you guys probably would have said we win this game 51-7, right? That's ridiculous against Tennessee.
Couch Real Quest, right back at you, my man. James Caraway, I think CKS is going to live and die with Ernest and rotate the freshman at right guard. I don't think Ernest, unless he's just not healthy and he can't play, I don't think Ernest doesn't find himself on the field at some point. I think I want to see Ernest get healthy as possible, because we saw it in 23 when he was healthy. He was a heck of a player. He was an all SEC tackle, and I think he can get back to that. I'm not ready to say he can't. He has to get healthy. But there does come a conversation at a time where it's like, all right, at what point does having him, with a 50 or 60% Ernest hurt you more than it does help you? That's a conversation that obviously probably already be had.
Yeah.
So, gentlemen, before we move on, we need to talk about the defense. I know I'll start it with this. For me, from my perspective, I'm not sure if there's another team on the schedule that's going, other than Georgia Tech, that's going to present a bigger matchup issue than Tennessee. They force you schematically with the way they line up to play with less in the box. And I think Georgia did pretty well in that regard in terms of stopping the run. I think Tennessee had 50 yards rushing at some point by the time the second half rolled around. It really wasn't until that last drive they started to turn things out on the ground when Georgia was already getting tired. But I don't know if there's a team. I think this is one of the hardest schematic tests, if not the hardest, that Georgia will have to face. And I think a lot of the issues that Georgia had on Saturday outside of the 50-50 balls were Tennessee enforced schematic challenges that not really any team outside of Mississippi State replicates with their scheme. Mississippi State's still a similar veer and shoot offense, but you talk about Texas. Texas is more traditional pro style. Alabama's a more traditional pro style. Georgia Tech essentially runs the option out of shotgun. They bring their own challenges, different challenges. But other than that, I look at the schedule and I say, hey, this is probably one of the hardest tests that your defense will have to face schematically all year long. And I'm not as worried about the defense after last week, because I chalk it down to, hey, that was just a hell of a game plan from Josh Heupel, and that was his best game plan he's ever put together, and they executed it. And they were doing some things differently than they had in the past, and they exploited a lot of the issues that Georgia was able to cover up in the past.
Yeah, and plus I think with the defensive front, they're not getting a ton of pressure. And I think that's the issue. I think if we can start getting some more pressure from the defensive line, I think that will correct a lot of the issues, because you really didn't see the DBs in bad spots. They were there. They were covering the guys. They just missed some balls. You got to keep your eyes up. You got to locate the ball, but they were there. So I see that as something that they can work on. And I see James posted, he said Kirby said the run defense suffered because of the lack. They had to give help to the DBs, which is true. But again, I just think there was a couple, I think, Kieran Jones, I think he had a blown assignment in the middle of the field. There's a couple of those things. So I don't think the defense is as I don't think it's terrible. I think we thought we had a great defense, and then maybe it's not great, but I think it's better than what we saw all Saturday.
Yeah. Well, I got a lot of pushback on this on the POS as well, because there were 14 points right there where the DB is right in the hip pocket making a play. The first one, yes, you can anytime, John. That's my son Clay. So there you go, Andy. Is it
really
happy?
your son Clay?
Is it really? Are you
not. I don't know. No, it's not. I don't know who John Green is.
All right. This is becoming a mystery. And he mentioned you coaching after tennis. This guy knows too much about you for him not to know you. Yeah. You're over here messing with us.
I really don't know who that is. I don't know who that is. So I got to figure it out. But can I go back to what I was saying now? Are y'all going to allow me to do that? Okay.
Put your son to bed. Tell him it's Betty Bow time, and go read him a story, and then we'll talk.
He's 25. You can't put a 25-year-old to bed.
I was talking about John Deere Green, but I was saying.
Okay. But anyway, those two balls that Joey threw up, and they weren't like darts right in a bucket or whatever. The first one to Ellis Robinson, he didn't track the football. He lost track of the football.
Yeah.
And the next thing he naturally tried to do was tackle the guy, which is the right play. Well, he tried that and it failed. The guy made a catch and ran into the end zone. So he was kind of there. You're right. And was the next one Daniel Harris? Was that Dalen Everett? I'm sorry. I can't remember which cornerback that was. It was torched on the other side of the field where he tipped the ball and the guy.
I think it was Harris. I think he tipped it.
I thought it was Harris too. Yeah. But I mean, going back and watching that, Harrison, if you look at it, if he doesn't touch that football, that's not a catch.
Yeah.
He actually got his hand on the ball and tipped it to him. Right.
Yeah.
So, missed timing. Those two plays, I was just kind of like, oh, those are crazy plays. They were there. It's not like they were wide. Now, there was a play later on in the game. The guy was wide open. That was a busted coverage. That's not good. And secondly, when they're going down to try to score the field goal to win the football game, what's that running back's name? Star, whatever. He was torching us. Yeah, my gosh. I mean, he was running free. Now, that's not good. Those kinds of breakdowns were bad. But it's all correctable. That's the good thing, right, Andy? I mean, it's just like it's a concern, no doubt about it. We look like a Big 12 defense, but they did too, right? And who's playing defense in the SEC right now? Maybe you could say LSU. That's about it. Nobody's playing defense right now. So Kirby's going to correct all this. I am concerned a little bit, but going forward, it's going to be fine.
All right. Well, full disclaimer before we move on to the Georgia scoreboard update. Eddie, I put a poll for our comments to vote on. Do you believe Eddie when he says he does not know who John Green is? Yes or no? 67% do not believe you, Eddie. What do you have to say to the people that think you're lying to us?
I don't really care.
Damn. You don't care about our viewers, Eddie?
No, that explains why you didn't. That is not what I said.
You weren't here on Sunday.
I did not say I don't care about the viewers. I don't care about those opinions because they're wrong.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Andy, let's transition over to the Georgia scoreboard or Georgia high school football scoreboard update.
All right. So last week we had several people telling us their high schools. So I wanted to start with those teams. So we had Pickens beat White County 34-7. And I can't remember who asked for Pickens, but there you go. We had Turner County. They lost to Wilcox County 29-20. Then we had someone asked for Stevens County, and they lost to Oconee County 28-24. Someone asked about Mitchell County. They lost to Clinch County 21-6. You see where I'm getting at here. You guys, y'all's team struggled last week. Cherokee lost to North Paulding 59-43. Thompson lost to Swainsboro. It was close though, 44-42. And I don't know how to say it. Tryon lost to Lafayette, whichever one you want to call it, 32-14. So all your teams, they lost. Pickens was the only one that won, I think. So, but then some other local schools. We had Jackson County. They beat Madison County 44-7. Colquitt County, the number 14th team in the state, beat Lee County, the number 15th team in the state, 43-36. Buford, who's number 2, they beat Douglas County, who's number 9, 34-26.
That was a war too.
And how about Marist? Marist is coming back around, dude. They beat Northview 70-6. And, of course, we got Eddie's good buddy. He's the OC there, Paul Etheridge. He's been on the show. Great guy.
Mm-hmm.
And Harrison beat Pebblebrook 49-14. So there were some.
I throw that in there because that's our local school here. So,
yeah, so that's some big scores.
Really well. Yeah.
But yeah, so there you go. If there are any local schools you guys want shout outs, put them in the chat and I will post them. And I see Turner County got you. Oh, I got you on there, John Deere Green. I got you, dog. So your school lost. Sorry. But
John Deere Green's a season ticket holder since 1982. To
the high school team? To Turner County?
I'm assuming Georgia. I don't know. Maybe it is Turner. I don't know. It's a great question. John Deere Green, let us know.
We could answer that. Just chat it out.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got Scott Anderson, Calhoun. Which one are Denmark? Hey, keep posting and I'll type them down.
Yeah.
Keep them down throughout the show.
We'll shout them out.
We'll put them out. UGA John Deere Green. John Deere Green says, let's talk about. Let's end the mystery. Eddie, where the heck were you on Sunday before we hop into this the Falcon segment? We had guesses of Magic City, Minnesota, and John Deere Green's house. Let's end the mystery here, Eddie. Where the heck
John
were
Deere
you?
Green lives with me. He's my son, right? So he was here.
Troop guy. Gotcha.
All right.
Got you on the list. Okay.
You want me to just say it? I mean,
where were you at? Where were you at?
If you don't mind, sir, let's end the mystery here.
I was at my 51st Fish show last night. So I've seen this band called Fish, kind of like Grateful Dead, you know, Widespread Panic. I'm one of those jam band guys. I love them. And I went out with my cousin, and you probably laugh. 51 shows. The guy I went with is my cousin, has seen him 200 times. So it's just, it's as my wife calls it, it's a cult. And, so I drove down to Birmingham and went and saw them last night. It was a lot of fun. So
you were in Alabama last night instead of doing.
It's an armpit. It's just not good. But when you love something like that, Annie, you go travel to where they are. I've seen them in New York. I've seen them in Vegas. I've seen them out west. I've been all over the country to see this stupid band. So,
dude, you're turning your son.
You know what?
Against you.
John Green is absolutely valid. My wife would concur with you. It's a stupid obsession. It's a waste of money, but I love it. You know, whatever. To each his own.
You loved
right?
us. I thought you loved the.
I can love multiple things at the same time, Harrison.
But you turned on your Peach State Power Hour fans to go to Alabama, who were playing in less than
that has nothing to do with it.
12. Are you an Alabama fan? Do you like the Crimson
football
Tide?
part has nothing to, by the way, where I stayed was right there by the UAB stadium. They got a pretty nice stadium there, and they play Tennessee, so we're all going to root for them this
there we go.
Right?
Well, we got the Blazers. Yeah, we can pull.
But it was pretty cool to see the Blazers.
Shout out Roddy White.
But
Roddy White.
Birmingham, no offense, Birmingham people, that place is an armpit. Sorry, it's just not a very nice place. So that's where I was, Harrison.
See, College Field Quest. That sounds like a new Bama fan. I'm saying. So, Cedar Shoals. My bad, Jermaine. I'll get you on there next week.
And I'll be at 52nd on Wednesday night because I'm going to see him here in Alpharetta. So there you go.
My contribution to the night: bet Eddie drinks Tito's to fund Texas NIL.
No, I actually don't.
God.
just messing with my
stuff.
All right, let's talk Falcons.
Let's talk these Falcons.
Again.
How about them Falcons?
This time last week, would you have guessed if this game turned into a shootout or into a defensive slugfest? The Falcons will come out on top. And before you answer that, I want to take this moment and I just want to celebrate. I told y'all they weren't going to start 0-5. I told y'all they were going to win this football game. I told you
say that.
It wasn't time to put the DEFCON level at level 1. This Falcons football team does not suck completely. They are a good football team. Are they a great football team? Are they a playoff football team? That's too early to be determined.
Yeah.
But let's give them some credit. I got some concerns about the offense a little bit. They got to figure some things out. Maybe, just maybe, I will give a little bit of slack on the line to Eddie that maybe the offense should have played in preseason. But man, oh man, were the rookies on defense fantastic last night. Those guys, fantastic. Billy Bowman, Xavier Watts, James Pierce,
Jalen Walker.
Fantastic stuff from those young Falcons defenders. Joshua or Ulbrich, I'm blanking on his first name. Fantastic stuff. Jeff Ulbrich. Despite the, I wish we had this show when the draft prank call was out. I would have loved to hear the opinions. We won't have to get into that tonight. But gentlemen, y'all were wrong. I was right. Maybe the first time ever. Thoughts?
Well, put the comment up. 2 comments from Chris Garcia. Down 2. Yeah.
This one right here.
No, down 2. Chris Garcia. I think it's one below that one. It was a bad game. They still look terrible. See, now I'm going to take a win as a win. First, I said they were going to start 0-5.
It's the NFL.
So I'll say they were going to start 0-5. But I didn't think they looked great. I do think the defense is good. I think the defense is legit. I think the offense is still it's just not great, but the defense looks good. Like you said, those young guys with the Jalen Walker. I wish he was still wearing the Georgia red and black because we need some sacks, but he looks legit. All the guys look legit. So the defense is good. I'm happy about the defense. The offense, they're struggled. I mean, they didn't put up great numbers. Michael Penix went 13 for 21 for 135 yards, but he got sacked 3 times, lost 27. So, I mean, but they did run the ball really good. Bijan Robinson is a freaking stud. Oh, there you go. Freaking stud. Bijan Robinson he's legit. So, hey, you know what? I don't think they're a great team, but I think they can get better. So a win's a win. I take it. Let's do it.
And you didn't even mention Tyler Algiers, who would probably start on 31 other NFL teams. That guy's a beast.
16 carries for 76 yards. Yeah.
Yeah. So first of all, Harrison, I think it's really cute. You as a young child basically saying you have confidence in the Falcons. You told us we were wrong. The Falcons are a good team. It's really cute, Harrison. You have no idea
my young age is shining.
The pain we have experienced, Andy and I and others, with this football team since back in the 70s. It's been brutal. So you have no idea why we think the way we do. Okay. Sorry. Old man here preaching to the choir, but whatever. That's the way it is. Secondly, I went to this concert yesterday and I wore my Falcon shirt. What was that? Yesterday, Sunday. So I had my Falcon shirt on before the game, and I'd see people and they'd be like, "Hey, go Falcons." And it'd be like, kind of, yeah, they kind of, they're kind of a joke. Literally about 5 people said that, "Hey, Falcons, we're sadomasochists," or whatever. Today, I put on a different Falcons shirt, and 3 people came up to me and fist bumped me and said, "Dang, we looked impressive last night." And we had some pride. That's all we've been asking for, is to be something that we're not mocked in the NFL. And that's what we were yesterday. We looked like a legitimate football team yesterday. Now, Super Bowl contender, playoffs, all that aside, we were competitive. We had 6 sacks. How many times? When was the last time we had 6 sacks in a game, much less a season?
Did we have that last year in the game, the whole season? That's what I don't know.
We had 4 rookies that we drafted this April that made impact plays. That's unheard of with this franchise. Usually you draft 4 and are all out of the league by the next season. Okay. I was very impressed with this defense. First of all, they're flying all over the place, making plays. And Michael Penix, what? If any can talk to whatever. I mean, it's just a total troll job. Michael Penix, you said he didn't have great stats. Andy, I agree with you. We couldn't score in the red zone, but there were a couple throws throughout the game, and you're like, this guy's legit.
He's got it.
Hose. He rolled out that one time to his right side and kind of threw it like this.
Yeah, he threw it to
Drake London. Drake ended up
fumbled it, but still, it didn't matter. So,
across his body, he's got a quick release, and this kid's only going to get better. I mean, he ain't Drake. What was his name? The guy we had last year from Cincinnati. I've drawn a blank.
Desmond Ridder?
Ridder.
Yeah, Desmond Ridder. He is not even in that same league. This guy is a legit NFL quarterback, and he's only going to get better. I'm excited, but I'm tempered with my enthusiasm, Harrison, because I've seen this story before, but I liked what I saw last night competitively.
Cautiously optimistic, right? Cautiously optimistic.
Exactly. I still don't like the coach. I still think Raheem Morris is not a good football coach, and he's going to cost us 2 games this year.
I'm not on the Falcons or the Super Bowl. I'm not even saying that they're going to make the divisional round. I do think they have enough talent in this team to make the playoffs. Will they is a different discussion. That's all I'm saying. I think this team has enough talent to make the playoffs at minimum. Anything less than that, depending on the circumstances, is an abject failure. Abject failure, in my opinion. Now, I get it. Recent history has said, well, they're going to fail at that goal. I get that. But at some point, streaks have to end, boys. At some point, streaks have to end.
I agree. But let me just bring you back down to reality here, okay? This is how the franchise operates. Younghoe Koo cost us the game last week, and he should not have been on the roster, right? Should not have been. What did our kicker do that we brought in last night? 5 for 5. He's the starter. You know what Raheem Morris said today? 95% he's the starter, and Koo still is backup.
Yeah.
They can't help themselves. So if this guy gets hurt, God forbid, Younghoe Koo's coming back in the football game.
Yeah.
That's how stupid this franchise is. They won't get rid of the guy who's terrible. And 95%? He should be 150%. He's our starter. This guy was money last night. So there you go, Harrison. It's always there. They do stupid things.
Yeah, they should have cut Koo already. He should have.
Absolutely right.
He should have never broke camp with this team. But
it's because he loves the guy. Blank loves him because he's a Falcons guy. Mm-hmm. He's good in the community. Fine. I don't care. Make field goals.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got to go. Koo's got to get. He can't. I mean, I understand he said the 5%, but yeah, that guy made 5. Romo made 5 last night, so he's the guy. And if they were to go back to Koo, it just shows how crazy this team is.
Maybe the 5% is because Romo didn't know who Leonard Floyd was.
That was pretty funny.
That was a funny clip. That was a really funny clip.
That's why there's 5% chance that he's not the starter.
He didn't know Bijan. He knew Bijan. He was like, "Yeah, I know Bijan." So that's all that matters. So
and Leonard Floyd standing there looked like he could crush him like a melon, right? I mean, he's just this massive human next to him.
God, he's so big.
That was a funny clip. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he is a big dude.
Yeah. Well, guys, we got a few minutes left. I want to ask y'all something. There's 13 games left in the Atlanta Braves season, including tonight, which they are currently winning. I know, Eddie, you don't care.
They're winning? Oh, my God. I got to turn it on. Hurry up. Let's get this show over. I got to go watch them.
Really?
They're winning. No. But here's the question. Do y'all think and do you want Brian Snitker back next year? Harrison, you go first. I want to know your answer.
Mm-mm. Nope.
You don't want him, but do you think he will be back?
I don't want him. I don't think he will be back. I don't. I think he was supposed to. The word has been for the last year, this is it. He's going off into the sunset. He's retiring. If he's changed his mind at any point, I'm sorry, Snit. You lost your chance to be here as long as you want. It's time to go. It's time for a fresh face. It's time for fresh ideas. And I don't think we're going to get them. I think they're probably going to keep it in the family again, which, hey, I know it was obsessed with Snit, but sometimes we got to get a little bit more innovative. And I know I'm sounding like EFA, and he's probably going to rip him to shreds, even though he drafted or he probably spent $20 on a Terrapin beer that funded the Braves in their new offices just a few weeks ago. But
I own their stock too.
I do too.
You and Frank the Tank both own stock in the Braves. He should not be back by any means necessary. I don't care how much his urge to win is there because they lost this year. He has to go. I appreciate what he did. I love 2021. I love the World Series. Eddie Rosario, Jorge Soler, heck, even Freddie Freeman, who I don't want to talk about. That team was awesome. Great memories from that. It's time to move on. It's time to move on. It's been a cycle the last 3 years. It's time to move on. It's time to start somewhere else. Pour one out for Brian Snitker.
Your question was, do I want him back?
And do you think? And do you think he'll be back?
Do I want him back? Absolutely not. I love Snitker, but I'm with Harrison. It's just time for new blood. It's time for something different in this organization. Do I think he comes back? Yes,
I do too.
He does.
Ooh.
I did not think so until recently.
That's exactly right. Now, my son, who's not John Green, by the way, did make a good point. What are they going to say to the media? They're not going to say, well, Snitker's not coming back. So that is a valid point. They're just going to say blah, blah, blah to the media and make it sound like, we don't know and he might come back. But I think Snitker may go to the organization and say, hey, we got to throw these 2 years out. Injuries, this was a disaster. I don't want to end this way. I'd like one more shot to see if I can get this team back to the World Series. And they're going to give him that shot. I think he comes back.
Look, Jermaine King.
You agree, Andy? You agree with that? Yeah,
I do. After listening to Bill Shanks talking about that, I was like, oh crap. I was like, that's and they had talked to Snit and he was very well, I'm not sure. We'll see how it goes. And when him not say, of course, what's he going to say? He's not in the middle of the year. He's not going to say, yeah, I quit.
Right.
But I think Snitker will be back next year for his final.
That's what these guys do. It's ingrained in their brain. Yeah. What's he going to do? Go play golf?
Because I think
his wife. I mean,
I think Bill said this would be his next year would be his 50th year in the Braves organization. Right. Hitting that 5-0 is different than on the 4-9.
So I think, Harrison, you need to brace yourself. It's going to be Snitker back.
I think
I really
everyone needs to brace themselves. And look, Jermaine King brings up a good point. Yeah, the pitching staff was on the DL, but and look, I don't. Not everything's on Snit for this year. I'd put as much blame on the ownership, and I think everybody, all of us can agree. Even the ones that want Snit out can all agree. He's taking a lot of the blame because he's doing the day-to-day, but he was set up to fail.
He was
set up to fail. But the issues with the hitting, with the offense, is where I laid the blame with him and with the hitting coach. There was supposed to be improvement. There was not. And it kind of makes me a little upset that these guys are starting to get hot at the wrong time. And it's been consistent the last 3 years.
Ozzy's hot. What happened to Harris?
Harris is terrible. Ozzy's terrible.
Being garbage. Yeah. No, Ozzy's been okay, but Harris has been garbage. I mean, that's just,
I said Ozzy. Ronald Acuna. Acuna's terrible. He's hit like 100.
There you go, Acuna.
He's hit like 115. There you see.
Hey, here we go. Paul's on the same page as EFA. World peace has been achieved.
Well, get who out of here? Is he talking about Snicker? He's talking about Acuna.
No,
he's not. There's no way he's talking about Acuna. No,
he's not. He's not talking about trading him. He said put Ronald Acuna in the 7th hole. Is what he's saying.
I know. I think he's talking about. Well, and he'll clarify first. Snit. There we go.
Okay,
dude.
Snicker. Well, I say trade Acuna. I say trade Acuna in the offseason. Trade him.
All right. Enough of the Eddie propaganda for the night.
Let's do it.
We're gonna end it there before Paul Mahari hacks in the StreamYard and kicks him off the screen. But yeah, that's ridiculous. No,
not ridiculous.
It is. All right, they're gonna re-sign him, Eddie.
All right, we'll argue that next week, but it's not ridiculous. Not at all.
No.
If you want to contend, it's ridiculous.
He's hitting 117 since he came back from his injury or something like that. So it's not.
And guess what? He's gonna get injured again. He will.
Look, people get injured walking down the stairs. Does that mean we're going to trade away Michael Penix?
Harrison, let me ask you a question. Are they going to sign him in whatever, 3 years? Is it 2 years?
I guess 2 years after this.
Are they going to sign him?
I think.
Are they going to answer that? Yes or no? Are they going to sign him?
Hold on. I'm getting there. The reason they've been letting these players go has been with the goal, in my mind, to re-sign Acuna. Now, the question for me is, will Acuna re-sign if they don't get the crap back together? If they don't start contending? That's where the question lies. But they have been doing this for however many years now with the goal in mind to re-sign Acuna. If they aren't going to re-sign Acuna, you should have just ran the band back together. You should have paid Freddie. You should have played Dansby. Should have paid Minter. All right? And we'll just run it back with those guys till they're as old as Eddie.
And we get to that point. Let's just say we do that. Acuna will be the highest paid baseball player of all time. He's going to exceed, because it's going to be 2 or 3 years down the road, right? He's going to make more money than any baseball player has ever made. Is he worth that in your mind, Harrison?
When he's healthy.
When he's healthy, he's the greatest player in baseball.
Well, yeah. I mean, but you can't guarantee he's going to be.
Yeah, that's the problem.
But Eddie, if you don't re-sign him, and he signs elsewhere, and he's healthy,
and goes on to be an MVP again,
that is as egregious.
I know you're saying he walks, right? I'm saying trade him and get some assets back now or next year. You got to do this thing because. All right, whatever. We're off. Yeah, it's football season. Why are we talking about the Braves? Andy, I blame you for this. It's Andy's fault.
This is Andy's fault. Man, oh man.
You don't even play for the Braves anymore.
Hey, Paul Mahari said the hour is up. Paul Mahari's ready for bed.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I can't have a differing opinion than Paul. We got to stop the show.
No, Paul only gives us an hour and then Paul's done. Can I join the Zoom call? Talk to Eddie about that. I don't know. You're probably gonna walk upstairs.
He's gonna go. Yes, y'all are gonna go have dinner tonight.
Yeah, spank my son. Spank him for saying that.
I bet you spank him. But,
good Lord. All right.
And with that, we're out.
We're off the rails. I haven't told y'all this. I forgot to text y'all this. Next Sunday, live at 7:30 here in the Peach State Power Hour, the Alabama-Georgia preview of the Peach State Power Hour. We have a special guest. It is in pencil, assuming nothing else changes. Great friend of the show, terrific football mind. This guy could be coaching football in my mind right now if you wanted to.
Coaching football.
Brent Rollins is going to be on the show next week, giving us at least 30 minutes of Georgia-Alabama preview. Bring your questions. bring your hot takes, whatever you got. Bring it all. You're going to ask Brent. You're going to be able to get Brent for at least 30 minutes, I'd assume. Just kind of like we did with Murray. It's going to be a great show. Brent's going to give us the best preview in the dang Georgia space about what to expect with Georgia and Alabama or I guess in 2 weeks from now.
Hey, I think we should ask Brent if we should trade Acuna next week. We'll start the show with that.
Yeah, he is.
And he'll have an opinion, I guarantee
it. Yes, he will.
Yeah,
great job. Maybe we'll get Paul Mary on to moderate.
Harrison, before you go, mention we're looking for sponsors, please.
Oh, thank you. I forgot to do that at the top of the show. Hey, guys, as Eddie just said, we are looking to get some sponsors on this show. We got some glorious space on this screen
on either side of me, right?
Yeah,
right there. I mean, and right there.
If you wanted to plaster your company's logo on Eddie's forehead, you can do that. There. All right, you can put it. He can have a forehead tattoo, whatever you want. Obviously, that comes with a little bit of a financial, monetary gain for us.
Partnership,
but it also, it's a mutual partnership with us. We mentioned we scratch your back, you scratch our back. Everybody's happy. We got great and loyal viewers up in here that are with us week after week. John Deere Green,
50,000 subscribers.
Yep. Constantly giving Eddie some love. I'm sure John Deere Green will give him
John Deere Green said he will sponsor Eddie. Look at that. So
maybe he works for John Deere. We can work this out. Let's talk.
Hey, if that's the case, John Deere, let's have some conversations. But beyond this show, we have the UGA Sports YouTube channel has over 52,000 subscribers, on the way to 60,000. There is a tremendous community of dog fans on the dog vent at UGAsports.com. By the way, if you haven't already, you can join and get your first week for $1. As a bonus, your membership includes a complimentary year of access to The Athletic.
Yeah.
If you want to be a informed, well-educated dog fan, there's no better place to be than UGAsports.com. Daily content coming out on here. Almost daily content coming out here on the YouTube channel as well.
Yeah,
we appreciate y'all for joining us. You know where to find us. I'm at Harrison Reno on Twitter. I believe Eddie is at Eddie Mattingly on Twitter. That's Andy Stowe. Contact any of us if you're interested in a sponsorship opportunity. We would be more than willing to have a conversation with you. We appreciate y'all. Reminder, 7:30, back to 7:30 on Sunday, every single week. Win, lose, or draw, this show remains. The only thing that throws us off is if Eddie decides to go to Alabama. But with that being said, that's going to wrap it up for today's edition of the Peach State Power Hour. I'm Harrison Reno. That's Andy Stowe. That's Eddie from Acworth. We'll see you next week.